Firefighters are continuing to tackle a huge fire in Smethwick, which has now been burning for more than 36 hours. The fire, which has destroyed 100,000 tonnes of plastic at the J-Plas recycling plant, was started by a Chinese lantern. Callum Watkinson joins us now from Smethwick. Callum, what's the latest where you are?
Well, what firefighters here are doing now is looking for hotspots. This may well look a lot less dramatic than it did yesterday when the flames were at building height, but there's still a great deal of heat here under the surface. You can actually feel it, and the firemen, there's every danger that heat could cause further fires, especially as the diggers here start to break through this debris and take some of the rubbish away. So that's why the firemen are still here, though there are of course far fewer of them than there were at the height of this incident.
This was one of the largest fires that the West Midlands Fire Service has ever had to tackle. We had 200 firefighters here at its peak. We had emergency services from our surrounding brigades, Staffordshire and Hereford and Worcester supporting us. You know, that's now been reduced through the night, down to less than 100, and now we have about 50 firefighters here. But we do expect to have, numbers around about 20 or 30 firefighters for the next day or so.
So Callum, we know the fire was started by a Chinese lantern and there have been calls for tougher regulations.
Yes, indeed, certain people have been calling for these things to be banned or at least more tightly regulated for a number of years, but those calls have grown far louder in the last 24 hours since it emerged that one such lantern caused this £6 million mess that you can see behind me. Now, the Department for the Environment did recently conduct an investigation into these lanterns that concluded they are a danger for many of us. They cause problems for aviation, they hamper search and rescue efforts, that report says, and they cause problems for farmers. Though for them, as one farmer from Leicestershire told us, the problems aren't just from the fire risk.
The lanterns come down in the grass fields, and when they disintegrate, the wire and bamboo that they're made of splinters and fragments in the grass. You can't actually see it, but the cattle eat it, and when it gets ingested, it cuts all their insides up and kills them.
Well, West Midlands Fire Service official line is that there should be a review of these contraptions, not an outright ban. But it is worth noting that both Australia and Spain have recently introduced legislation banning these things outright. So I think the results of such a review could well end up being a complete ban on Chinese lanterns.
OK, Callum, thank you very much indeed.